Okay, so this Tuesday chat, I've got something exciting to share. You've probably been seeing little hints of it. My hair's a bit fluffy. Little hints of it. You'll start to see me advertise more and more as it gets closer. But Soft Pastel Week is on again this month. So it kicks off on the 20th of July. If you've been following me for some time, then you'll know that I run these every 6 months. Okay, and they're in celebration of me opening the premium tier doors of my online art membership, the Creative Barn. Okay, so they're always a lot of fun. Everyone who attends always gets excited about it, and the whole week it's just so good. So it's for beginners, it's for experienced, it's for all different people. So yeah, it's just exciting, and it takes me a lot of work to prepare them, and that's why I've been so busy the last sort of week. But I think I've got it all happening. If you happen to see the advertising and all the rest, and you click on it and something's not working, please let me know. Okay, I'm a one-man show here, so a one-woman show. So I hope I've got everything going well, and it's a smooth transition. So so Soft Pastel Week, like I said, it's whether you're brand new to soft pastels, or you're coming back after a long break maybe, or you're just feeling a little stuck with your art. This free challenge is designed for you. And if you're none of those and you just love participating in the challenge, then it's for you as well. Okay, so today I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening during Soft Pastel Week, and why it's actually perfect for beginners. But I thought I'm kicking it off. It's not starting till the 20th, but I thought the next few Tuesday chats we can discuss Soft Pastel Week and why it's good and what you're going to learn and all the rest of it. Okay. Let me know as well. I've got an itchy nose. Let me know in the comments as well if you've ever participated in a challenge before. I know I think all you guys that are on at the moment in the membership, so you probably have, or you've at least all been following me for some time. So and the main thing, sometimes I do the challenge for free, other times I do it at a very low cost. Okay, but this time it's free. And you will have an option to have a VIP experience at a small cost, but the overall challenge is free for everyone. Okay, I do like probably one a year I do completely free, just to let everyone have a go at it. Okay, because it is so much fun. Okay, so the reason I kind of create the challenges in the first place is more when I was starting out. I remember how confusing it felt like for soft pastels. You didn't know what paper you needed. It wouldn't blend well. Questioning, is your work any good anyway? And I was sort of jumping all over the place between what supplies, tried everything, different tutorials you see online, free ones on YouTube. But I don't know, it just seemed to take a while and nothing was clicking, and I was a bit confused with the whole pastel thing, that I even, I wasn't using the right paper, and I just stopped because I wasn't having much success. And it wasn't until a bit later I met someone who showed me through an in-class, like I was going every week to his classes, and he was then breaking down a bit of that confusion. But then I actually, the more I learned and knowing the right materials to use, then I learned more and more and more about soft pastels, that I now pretty sure I know most things about them. So, and that's, I would like to not, I would like to break the confusion for everyone else, really. because it's not like, I think soft pastels probably get a bit confused because, you know, you've got your oil paints and your acrylics. You can just paint on anything, you can just grab any old canvas. You can even go to the, you know, the $2 store and get a canvas, and your paints will still work. And apart from them just being some different brands, that's really the only difference. Whereas soft pastels, there's quite a lot of difference because they come in the pencils, they come in the sticks, they come in the pans, and then every brand is different. And you could still buy a brand of pastels and still struggle more with that particular brand than another brand, because then you need to know sort of what pastels work best on what paper. And then, of course, the paper is the most important thing. And there's so many pastel papers out there. And it's confusing because some say they're pastel papers and they're not. They're hopeless. They're, you know, they're no good for anything. So that's, you know, the main reason I think I started Soft Pastel Week. Sometimes I call it a challenge. Sometimes I'm sticking with Soft Pastel Week now. And I run through everything to do with soft pastel. So it's not just about learning a tutorial that I'm teaching. Like, at the end of the week, you'll come away with a finished painting. But it's more about trying to break down all of that confusion. And I like to talk about other things related. You know, as artists, it's not just learning that medium. There's always roadblocks like time management, confidence, all things like that I also like. We cover a lot of that throughout the week as well in soft pastels, in Soft Pastel Week. So yeah, and just the whole community of it. I know community, after running my own membership for the last 4 years, community is everything. And that's why I think also Soft Pastel Weeks is so much fun, because we always have that pop-up private Facebook group for everyone. And it's a safe space to share, especially for beginners, to share your work and ask for sort of feedback. Maybe have the courage to ask for critique as well. That can take a lot, but it's a great space to learn, and it's a great opportunity without costing you anything really, because it's a free challenge where you can get that feedback. So yeah, that's why I create Soft Pastel Week. Okay, so it's not just about me teaching you how to draw something. Like I do Facebook Lives quite often every few months, where we just do a 1 or 2 hour live session where you just follow along with me drawing. Whereas Soft Pastel Week is not just that. It's a huge thing. And I know those on here that have joined me for Soft Pastel Week will verify and know that, yeah, it is. And that's why everyone looks forward to it. It's only on every 6 months. But yeah, it's great fun, and I'd love you to join me, and that's why I'm doing it free this time, to have reach out to as many people as possible, because I know you'll enjoy it, and even if you haven't sort of picked up a pencil or anything, you can still watch it and follow along, even if you don't have all the supplies. I've kept the supply list to a minimum. And you'll see I've chosen, this is what we're painting. Okay, this gorgeous pelican. I just love the bright blue background. Okay, so this is the main tutorial we're going to be doing throughout the week. So this is pre-recorded and it's broken down into 4 stages. Okay, we're going to be doing, I'll show you. So even if you can't draw, not a problem, because you'll have line art. And then I'll show you how to transfer the line art onto your pastel paper. Then I'll show you, you can't see it very well, but there is a gradient on here from dark to light. Okay, in the sky, it's always darker at the top, lighter towards the horizon. Okay, so I'll show you how, this is on pastel mat. Some people struggle with pastel mat for blending, so I'll show you how to get a beautiful smooth blend. Then Then I'll show you how I do an underpainting, sort of a block in of the bird and the eye. And then we're going to do the beak as another one. And then finally get that feather texture happening on his body. Okay, so, and then by the end of the week, you'll have a gorgeous pelican, and 100% it is very beginner friendly. Pastels are such an amazing medium for beginners, okay, because they're very forgiving. Okay, so what we're doing in Pastel Week, like I said, it starts Sunday, July the 20th and runs for 5 days. So it finishes on Friday the 25th. And then once everyone's caught up, the doors to the Creative Barn Premium tier are opening for 5 days, okay? And then they'll be shut again until next year. And I'll be sending you all an offer to join the premium tier. I'll be inviting you to join the premium tier at the end. If you really enjoyed the Soft Pastel Week and loved the community and loved the encouragement and loved my teaching, then you can continue on inside the premium tier. All right. So, like I said, you'll get through Soft Pastel Week, we're doing that step-by-step tutorial in those bite-sized stages, and they're being released. So each morning when you register, the link to register for Soft Pastel Week is in this chat. I haven't got it in Instagram yet, but I will put it in my bio a bit later today. Or you can go to Kerri Dixon Art over on Facebook, and you'll probably see some stuff over there, some links as well. But yeah, so we're doing that. So on I'm going live every day in the pop-up Facebook group to answer questions, to talk about that day's tutorial. So that's the live section. I'm not actually drawing live. So the Pelican is pre-recorded tutorials. So they get released when you register. I get your email, so I can email you out when each tutorial is released. And you'll also get access to the dashboard. Okay, so you have to register, even though it's free, and you can get in the Facebook group without registering. But if you get in the Facebook group and you haven't registered, then you're not going to get the tutorials, and you're not going to get this workbook and the schedule and all of that. You have to register. So I have your email address that I can send you all this stuff. And you also will get access to the dashboard, and that's where each day the tutorials release, that's where you'll be able to watch it. Okay. So like I said, I'll be going live every day. So I'll answer questions, all of that. You have the pop-up Facebook group that's open it's open right now. But it is archived on the 31st of July. That's when all tutorials or recordings go away on the 31st of July for the free version. You do have an option when you register. You'll see I have an option for a VIP experience. If you are already a Creative Barn member, please don't sign up, or you don't need to register, and you already have the VIP experience, okay? And that includes extra Zoom calls. We're going to do some Zoom calls throughout the week. It also includes a discount to join the Creative Barn Premium tier. And you get lifetime access to the whole Soft Pastel Week recordings. Okay, so if you feel you want to have lifetime access to all the recordings, then the VIP is for you. All right, but you'll see that offer when you actually register. Okay, so what you'll actually be learning during Soft Pastel Week is how to transfer that line art to pastel paper accurately using pastel pencils and tracing, techniques to create a smooth blended background, the best way to block in values and shapes using pastel sticks for your underpainting, how to build light layers with pastel pencils to create depth and realism, specific techniques to draw expressive eyes, how to create realistic textures on the pelican bill using 3 main pinks plus a couple of others, a methodical approach to drawing feathers and fur strokes and attention to direction and values, how to make final adjustments and finishing touches for a polished, lifelike result. And you'll see in this workbook, which I'll show you in a minute, it shows sort of my drawing process that I do on every single drawing I do. All my members in here will know exactly what I do, and it's a step-by-step process. Okay, so you can take that away, even if you do the free Soft Pastel week and you don't end up joining me any further, you can take that process and apply it to your own painting. So it's very beginner friendly and just makes it easier to follow along. Okay. All right, so by the end you'll have that finished realistic drawing of pelican, and I know you'll feel more confident about using soft pastels. Okay, and when you also sign up, you get the schedule, of course, which shows sort of the VIP Zoom calls, the Q&As. The tutorials are released in the morning, my time, but the Q&As are alternating. So there's 9 a.m. in the morning, and that suits anyone because I have a lot of overseas students. So the 9 a.m. in the mornings suit around the US, Canada area, and then I do 7 p.m. at night, my time, which suits the around Europe, UK, that area. Okay, so hopefully I've covered a lot of time zones for you. And then here's the workbook. Okay, so when you register again, you can download this. It has the schedule again. Hold on, sorry. That's the process. It has the reference image. It has the line art. It has a color guide, which you don't really need the color guide, but I thought I'd put it in there as well. It has the equipment list. And as you can see, I've tried to limit the pencils and sticks as low as possible. And your sticks, I'll go through this in more detail in the group, but you could get away with not having that many sticks. And then there's a step-by-step breakdown of my process. That's what I was saying is how I work it. So it goes into more detail about breaking it all down. And there's a page there for notes. So during the Q&As, where I'm talking about each step, you can, if you print this out, you can write down any notes and if you've got questions to ask as well. Okay, so the workbook, what else did I have to show you? That was it. I've shown you the pelican, I've shown you the workbook. Let me just check questions here in the Facebook group. Susan said she is looking forward to actually doing this next one instead of just watching them. Yeah, definitely, Susan. Beck said she did the dog last year but didn't finish, so you plan to actually finish this one. I must say, those who joined me last year for the dog, or even the start of this year, we did a safari. So we did like an owl eye, a croc nose, tiger fur, and something else I can't remember. This one, the pelican, is easier. Okay, so if you join me for the safari one, and probably even the dog actually last year, and felt it a little bit challenging if you're a beginner, I think you'll love the pelican. Okay. What's Odette got? I've joined the Creative Barn through a pastel challenge of Susie the border collie. Yeah, you did actually. Well, that's how these challenges are how people join the Creative Barn premium tier, because it is the only time I open the doors. Okay, so yeah, so it's the best time, well, the only time to get in actually. Okay, so I wanted to just really dive into why this is perfect for beginners, and not just beginners, but those stuck in a rut maybe, or needing a spark, or wanting to get back into a rhythm, because you don't need too many expensive supplies. Okay, some people will say pastels are dear, but pastels are very forgiving. Okay, a stick of pastel will last you years and years and years, and usually you only need a small piece. I don't actually have any here. So even if you have a couple of friends that are doing the challenge with you, you could, like, you know, this is a little piece of pastel stick, and that will last me ages. You know, a full stick is this size, so you could break that into 4 if you had a few friends and just went in with them. I've listed, I think in the equipment list, there's 6 sticks, but to buy full sticks like that, you will have that for years and years. And then I've tried to keep the pencils as limited as I can. And I use Stabilo Carbothellos, but you can, I do in that workbook, there's a color swatch for the equipment list. So you can color match, okay, to any pastel brand pencils at all. So if you've got Pitt Pastels, Derwent's, Caran d'Ache, like I said, I use Carbothellos, but again, I've kept them as minimum as I can as well. But they're so forgiving in that it's not like, say, watercolor where, you know, it's quite easy. I don't do watercolor because it's quite easy to mess it up. Pastels, if you mess it up, you can just, if you clog the paper, you can pull the pastel back out and start again. You can, because you can work dark to light, you can come back over the top. So if you're finding it's not quite working, and we'll go through all this through Pastel Week, but you can bring sticks in over pencils and cover over mistakes. The biggest thing with pastels is the paper. Okay, so you'll see when you get into the group and that, I'll encourage everyone to buy pastel mat. Okay, if you can't get pastel mat, then a sanded paper is next. But pastel mat, again, people think it's expensive, but it's $20 for a huge sheet. You can cut it down. You can buy just a smaller piece. And it's that forgiving that you can wash it off and start again. So if you invest in a piece of pastel mat, you're never going, unless you ripped it in half, you're never going to have to throw it out. Okay, so yeah, it's, to me, it's not expensive at all, because you can just keep going on that same piece of paper. And 9 times out of 10, I think I've washed a couple of students' work off where they've just decided they don't like it anymore and they're not coming back, or they just want to move on to something else. So they usually give me their half-finished piece, and I wash that off and reuse the paper. But myself, I don't think I've actually washed any off, because you can just fix it. You know, if your pencils aren't quite working, if you're getting towards the end and you need it a bit brighter and your pencils have stopped sort of working, you just bring out your sticks and add some highlights that way. So, like I said, it's very forgiving, and that's why I think it's brilliant for beginners, especially. You know, and because I'm providing the line art, you don't need to know how to draw. Drawing is another thing. I don't really teach how to draw. In the premium tier of the membership, we do weekly gesture drawing, and I have a whole fundamental module, which is also the essentials tier has that as well, which goes all through learning to draw, the elements of art, all of that stuff. But I'm not teaching you how to draw. Drawing takes quite a number of years to get good at. I'm teaching you how to use soft pastels and how to create realistic animal art, okay? And so you don't actually need to ever know how to draw. A lot of my students aren't even interested in learning how to draw, but you can still create absolutely beautiful animal art, pastel art, enter competitions, win awards all around the world. I know quite a number of artists that are top level artists and they use line art. So, you know, it's not a big deal, and it makes it very beginner friendly to do Soft Pastel Week, especially because I know from experience with my students, especially my in-person students, I quite often will get students come along and go, oh no, I want to draw from scratch. It's like, okay, go for it. Like, I'll always encourage anyone to draw from scratch if that's what they want to. But they're in so much of a rush, they won't spend the time to get that sketch perfect. You've got to get your proportions right when you're doing a sketch, okay? And if you don't, so they do their sketch, the proportions aren't right, but they want to keep moving on and get into the pastel and the fun bit. And by the end of it, they're not happy because their eyes are wonky, or the nose is too big, or there's something not right. So if you don't have your proportions right at the start, nothing's going to save it at the end, okay? Whereas by having everyone that's always joined me for these soft pastel weeks, I do a montage of all the finished work, and you'll see, even though everyone starts with exactly the same line art, all of them look different, and it's always so much fun to see them all together. Okay, but you'll know as a beginner it's going to look good because it's going to be in proportion right at the start, okay? And also, yeah, like everything, you don't have to keep up. So I know the time zones can be a bit of a pain, but like I said, these tutorials are being released each morning. So for some of you, that might be the night before it's released. Some of you in Australia, of course, it'll be 9 a.m. in the morning. But you have, because they're a pre-recorded tutorial, you can do them whenever you want. And like I said, you have till 31st of July if you want the free, if you're just doing the free pastel week. So you don't feel pressured to rush, okay? Just do them at your own pace. And then if you think you want to keep all the recordings and everything longer, then you have that option to purchase the VIP. Okay, so, and also I think for beginners, my step-by-step approach really helps and breaks things down. So each recorded tutorial, I think they range from around 30 minutes to an hour. Okay, so all up, I think that pelican must have been about probably about 2.5 hours to create him all up, but I don't work in one sitting anyway, so I always break things down. Okay, so and I think that really helps as well for beginners. Okay, I'm just checking the comments here. What is the time, Habas? Okay, so, and also I think challenges work really well. Well, this of course is great for beginners, like I just explained, but I think 5 days of being focused in a challenge can really help reignite that creative momentum, rather than waiting for the perfect time to create. You know, sometimes you lose your mojo. I hear it all the time. And you lose your inspiration and you just can't get motivated, can you? And I think sometimes we're waiting for the perfect time to create when all the stars align and we have some time. But doing a challenge, you're sort of throwing yourself into it. And if you can be present in the challenge, will make all the difference as well. I see it all the time. It's even in my membership, those that are present and show up, they're not just showing up for me to have a chat and just be part of the group. They're showing up for themselves because they're the ones that their work will improve, and they're the ones that are inspired and motivated all the time, because the minute you surround yourself with other artists, you're instantly motivated. So yeah, that's why I think a challenge is a really great way to it just makes you sit down and do some art. You know, it's a gentle push. It's a little bit of structure. I'm not driving like with a whip and chain on you to draw, but you know, but it is, because it's online, it is up to you, like I said, to show up. It removes decision fatigue, doesn't it? And gives you a daily goal, because sometimes we have all these ideas of what we want to paint in our head, but it's confusing because there's too many and we don't know where to start. Whereas if you do a challenge, I'm showing you exactly where to start. Okay, so you don't have to think about it. And usually at the end of the challenge, that's where it's sort of motivated people to get back into their art, and even just get back into it and go and join an in-person workshop. They're always a great motivator as well. So, even if you only get 3 days done, that's still better than 0 days done, and you've made time for your creativity. And that's what really matters, I suppose. And like I said, doing it together in the group is also brilliant. Seeing others' progress, because a lot will share their work in progress. You can cheer each other on, and it really does light that spark. And I would encourage everyone to share their work in progress. Firstly, if you share your work in progress in the Facebook group, you'll go in the draw to win 6 months free membership to the premium tier. That also includes all my existing members. Okay, you guys can go in the draw as well. All you need to do is share your work in the Facebook group. I just need to know you've got started. Okay, I don't want to put you in the draw to win 6 months in my premium tier if you haven't even started, because if you win that, you probably won't even start the premium tier courses either. So I need to know that you're committed and you're focused and you're part of the challenge, and then you go in the draw. And like I said, if you're a member already, same deal for you. If you put in there that you've started your work, you go in the draw as well, and that 6 months is added on to your membership. Okay, we can't have you guys missing out. You're my VIPs as well. All right, so Julie says, yes, that it can become confusing. Definitely. Yeah, when you just, I don't know, as creatives, we have a million things going through our head all the time, and it can be very confusing. Okay, so the challenge works so well because, you're not alone. You've got me guiding you and the community also doing it with you. And by sharing your work, like I said, you get to go in the draw, but it's the perfect time to ask for critique, ask for feedback if you're struggling. But it's also a great time to get that little confidence boost, because I find a lot of artists get a little bit shy. We can be a bit introverted. So just posting it up there, I'll guarantee no one is going to be negative. The group is always full of amazing people, and they'll cheer you on and lift you up, and that will boost your confidence. So even if you don't ask for critique or you don't need feedback, just sharing your work, you'll get some comments there that will help boost. But definitely it is the best time to ask for feedback. If you've got any problems with pastel, or you're struggling with realism, not just pastel, realism art as well. So this could transfer across. Maybe you're a realist, learning realism in acrylic, or you want to bring it more into your charcoal work or something. The whole how to create realism, that goes across all mediums. Okay, so it's not just pastel, you can learn that as well. Okay, so, and like I said, each step is bite-sized. It's not big, it's not overwhelming, it's very doable, and you'll see really good progress, and it'll really motivate you as well. I'm just looking at, what did Colleen say? Doing a challenge with you, Kerri, is how I got into pastel art. It was the gum nut flower. Yep, I was amazed at the outcome. I do find that very true, Colleen. At the end of the soft pastel week, even though some, it can be a challenge, especially for beginners. That's why I've tried to make this one a little bit less challenging than the last one. But even though they're like, there's some frustration there, this isn't going well and that, by the end of it, the result, everyone is always so pleased with the result of their work. And I think it's because soft pastels are just such a brilliant medium and are so forgiving that, your result's going to be great. Okay, so if you've never used soft pastels before, you're actually in for a treat, because they're so vibrant and they're tactile. You can get messy, and like I said, they're incredibly forgiving. So look at the blue on that. It's just beautiful. And I blend a lot, which can be considered a bit of a no-no with soft pastels, but you're still very bright colors, whereas pastels, if you look under a microscope, they're like little diamonds, and so they're the brightest of all pigment because they're the purest of all pigment. They have had the least amount of binder added to them. So if you see some soft pastel paintings that they haven't blended, that is the brightest you're going to get, because I don't know, it just sort of jumps off the paper. I blend a lot, but that's just my style. And again, it's not a no-no. Pastels can be used in a million different styles, but I still love how bright my paintings can be. Here's one I've just finished for the Creative Bar membership, both tiers. This is our latest tutorial, but it's so bright. I love rainbow lorikeets, and the colors are just gorgeous and vivid. But I also love soft pastels. There's just this matte softness to the work, and it's just I just can't go back. I do love oils, but I just can't seem to go back to them, because I just love how forgiving pastels are, but also how beautiful they are color wise. Okay, and like I said, you can lay over mistakes. You can lift off. I saw someone use sticky tape, and they had the eye in the wrong place. So they put sticky tape on it and lifted it off, and the actual eye impression was on the sticky tape. And it pulled what it does, the idea to be able to readjust, you need to get the pastel back out of the paper a little bit. Okay, so you can use sticky tape to do that. You can use a brush maybe, or a kneadable eraser, but you're just pulling the pastel out so you can put more in. And but it was just funny to see this eye on this piece of sticky tape. Okay, and then like I said, you can adjust it. You're not going to ruin your paper. Like I said, if you've got pastel matte, you can even wash it off. And yeah, it's just such a beautiful medium. All right, just checking comments again. All right, so also I know this is what, like I said, we'll probably talk a bit about this inside Pastel Week as well, because there's some common sort of fears and blocks, like don't have the right supplies, might hold you back, you'll fall behind, you're not good enough to join in. You know, there's all these things that we say to ourselves, but I'll guarantee, just get into the Soft Pastel Week, just enjoy seeing everyone in there. The one thing I do get asked a lot, can I use colored pencils? Go for it. Use whatever medium you want. It's just the techniques I'm going to show you are for pastels. Okay, colored pencils are not the same as pastel pencils at all. Okay, they work completely different. Pastels are a lot quicker. You can blend easier. And you can work dark to light. Okay, where I'm pretty sure color pencils, you can't really put light on dark very well. Okay, so not really the same, but even if you don't have any pastels and you can't afford it, just jump in anyway and have fun. You could maybe even try drawing along in charcoal or graphite. It's just fun to be in the group, and yeah, just yeah, join join in. All right. It's also great if you've been saying you want to get back into your art, or you always want to learn realism, or you just need motivation. Like I said, there's nothing better to motivate you than being surrounded by a heap of other artists. Okay, so you don't need to be perfect or anything. Just throw all those fears and worries out the door and just jump in. Okay, so like I said, it's for anyone from complete beginners right through to more advanced, if you just want a bit of a kickstart back into it. I get a lot of artists that join me every 6 months. Okay, they're not going to join the membership at all, which is totally fine, because they're experienced artists and they don't need to learn how to paint in pastel and all of that. They're already quite accomplished, but they do it as a bit of a motivation, and they just have fun in the group as well. So I've got a couple of testimonials here I picked up from one of the old challenges. So this one was from Diane, who said she'd never tried charcoal or pastels with not having a pencil in my hand for almost 50 years. So she was quite intimidated to attempt the challenge. So thanks to Kerri, I've rekindled my love of drawing. The tutorials were easy to follow and provide excellent instruction for this beginner. I'm looking forward to breaking open those creative barn doors. And then Lana said, thanks for the challenge. You definitely reignited her mojo. So yeah, so that's the main thing, I think, is really if you're getting stuck with your mojo, to get into it. I'm just going to put the link again. Oh, no, that didn't work. Hide. Hold on. Why didn't that copy? I copied it something else, wrong thing. I'm hopeless. No. Hold on. Let me get the link again, because I know everyone will want to know where it is. Why didn't that not copy? Copy. There we go. Okay, so there's the link. Okay. So did anyone have any questions at all about Soft Pastel Week? Like I said, if you follow that link, it should all be explained. I think I've even got a video of me talking on there. So yeah, you just sign up via the link. Karen, it starts on the 20th of July, the challenge, and it runs till the 25th. But the Facebook group is now open. So when you guys that are already in the membership, both tiers, if you look in the membership website, you'll see you already have the Soft Pastel Week module. Okay, so you can go in there and download your workbook, download the equipment list, and start getting your supplies together. Okay, you can't see the link. Okay, I've put it in. Oh, anyway, Karen, you don't need to register, okay, because you are already in there. Okay, so just go into the membership and find the Soft Pastel Week module. Okay, but for those that aren't already in the membership, I will be advertising and putting links everywhere. Okay, so you'll see them. They'll be in all my groups, on my Facebook page. I'll put it in Instagram. Okay, but what you can do now is you can register, even though it's still a few weeks away. You can register and you'll get access to the dashboard, and that way you're on my email list then, and I can email you out as well the workbook, the schedule, and the link to join the Facebook group. Okay, and there's already people in the Facebook group starting to share what they're doing and having a chat. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with joining up early and making sure you're not going to miss out at all. And also getting your supplies together. Sometimes, you've got to source. I would love you to source some pastel mat. If you're already getting ready now, okay, you've got a few weeks to get hold of some pastel mat, whether that's ordering online or going and visiting a local art shop. Okay, I would prefer you to have cheaper, like Kmart brand pastels, but spend the money on the pastel mat. Okay, I also would encourage, if you can't get pastel mat and you're using some other paper and you're struggling, then I maybe go the VIP and then you've got the recordings, because I would love for you to go back and get some pastel mat in the future and do it again on pastel mat, because you'll find a huge difference. Pastels, it is all about the paper. Okay, if you're struggling, then you're using the wrong paper. Okay, and you'll be surprised when I say that, but that is pretty much what it is. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I've gone through. My notes are at an end. Okay. But yeah, I truly believe anyone can learn to draw with pastels. Okay. You just need that structure and that step-by-step and a bit of guidance and the willingness to show up for yourself. Okay. So I'm excited to get Soft Pastel Week underway, but we still have a couple more weeks. So I'll see you next Tuesday. I'll probably see some of you inside the Facebook group of the challenge beforehand. But yeah, otherwise, I'll see you next Tuesday. Yep, we've got Tuesday chat next week. I have no idea what I'm talking about as usual. I might do challenge related again, but we'll see. All right. Thanks again for joining me. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.